I don't like it. I don't like it. Piece of shit. It's not the same. Is this saw as violently unimpressive as it seems, or am I just assessing incorrectly because I am using the context of our time? In the pursuit of self-realization, we will analyze my past opinion of this chainsaw and attempt a less cynical viewpoint. For example, the Ford-branded chainsaw made by Orline was the laughingstock of its time. The Ford chainsaw was apparently a marketing ploy that if you bought a new Ford tractor, you would receive a chainsaw. What a great marketing idea. You've nearly hit your target market spot on. Guy likes tractor, guy likes outdoors work, guy likes manly shit. Throw him a free chainsaw as a bone and he'll buy right into your tractor. Ford made a mistake though. They chose Orline to manufacture this saw for them. The Orline was probably the analog for the Senix in its time. We're talking 1970s. Orline manufactured these dinky little chainsaws that were around 20 cc with a gear reduction on them. Yeah, they were small and lightweight, but they were also gutless and they were slow. I've heard tell that after a gent bought his tractor, he took this chainsaw out and was woefully disappointed by it, much like I was with the Senix. So disappointed, in fact, he threatened to return the whole tractor unless he was awarded with a proper chainsaw. After some complaint from customers, I believe Ford pivoted from this sales gimmick, and most of the Ford-branded chainsaws ended up 86th in garages, back rooms, and scrap piles across the country. Sometime in the future, the demand for these little machines was revived, and they became sought after, not because of the quality of the engineering or the performance of the machine, but because of the failure that they were. What a beautiful turn of events for the once marginalized machine. Now collectors lovingly maintain these machines and restore them to like-new condition. Set them next to the aforementioned tractor and remember days past. If the saw had a spirit, I'm sure now it can lie at ease. A true celebration of their failure, memorialized by an inflated value. Metaphorically, I think there is a lot of value in our personal mistakes as well. The value in the mistakes is directly correlated to how much effort we put into assessing them. Think of it like this. If Ford would have never quit making these saws, there would be no value in them today. Same as us. If we keep making the mistake, it has no value or even a negative value. But if we change for the better, maybe we can attach some value to the mistake because of the lesson learned from it. Maybe. Is it possible that this failure thing is something we could all learn from? If we choose to learn, maybe we can look back about our past mistakes with a laugh and say, shucks. We could have done it better back then, and we certainly will now. If we choose not to learn from mistakes, that's okay too. We can just keep repeating them until we do. How successful could we be as humans that if 50 years into the future we're still so ignorant to our own mistakes that we're offering a free Orline chainsaw if you buy our tractor, figuratively speaking, of course. Much like those little Orlines, this Senix was an abstract idea to solve the problem of woodcutting. The Orlines were introduced sometime in the early 70s, so R&D had likely begun in the 1960s. Remember, at this time we were headed to the moon, or a moon studio somewhere in Hollywood, if you believe that conspiracy shit. In the early 70s, a saw-like oar line was somewhat forgivable. We're only maybe 25 years into the diaphragm carb at this time. Gear drive saws were still in regular production. I feel like this idea is kind of in the ballpark. Maybe. Hey, Atari was cool too. Now this Senix is some person's idea on how to eliminate the chore of mixing oil and issues common with two-strokes. I get it. It sounds like a good idea. Apparently sounded good enough for someone to manufacture it. The sales market couldn't possibly be all jerk-offs like me who buy it to make fun of it. Today I had some guys at my shop and I let them give it a whirl. Now these guys are all serious chainsaw guys. One, a tree care professional, and the remainder are big into 6 cubic inch muscle saws. I think that we were all in agreement that this was possibly the most aggressive piece of shit any of us had ever seen. It'll backfire and rip the rope out of your hand when you pull on the compression stroke. Poor fella had to look in the window after the starter rope failed and subsequently apologize for what was clearly not his fault. Imagine being passively coerced and manipulated by an inanimate object. Think about this power the machine had over him in that moment. This substandard machine took advantage of that guy's emotions. How do you like that? Not only is it useless, it's fucking bratty too. Is it a millennial? I mean, I am, and I fit the description. I've personally ruined all kinds of things for others strictly because of the bracket of time my parents decided to conceive me in. For all its shortcomings, it's a great conversation maker and has created more raucous joy for me than any other chainsaw in near memory. Sure, I just got done messing around with a beautiful Husqvarna 2100. Thanks, Dave. It is my precious. But when it comes time to talk about that, what is the conversation going to be? Hey guys, my Husqvarna 2100 is really mean. Hey guys, that was a badass muscle saw. Hey guys, look how big my balls are. Cue the Tim Allen grunt. This Senix strikes a nerve in everyone though. They opine, they joke, they call it names, then go outside and rev it up, come back in, and then we all laugh. What the Senix lacks in performance, it more than makes up for in bringing a group of guys with surely differing opinions together in a unified judgment. And that's what we need in times like what we've all been through in the last couple years. Camaraderie. So when I go to the dealer to get my Ford tractor, I'll tell the guy, thanks, but may I just have the chainsaw? Fuck this piece of shit.